Welcome to He Still Speaks Now Listen. It is a pleasure to be before you today. I have another message that I thought I'd present to you to keep you thinking. Thank you for visiting my website, HeStillSpeaksNowListen.org, and also my YouTube channel. He Still Speaks Now Listen, for those of you who are visiting for the first time, is to provoke you into thinking. If I can do one thing, cause you to think, I've done my job. It is not about the wealth or the money I shall receive, because that is the fruit of my labor. I do what I do because I have to. Many years ago, when I started writing, I just put my stuff on a piece of paper and put it on the shelf. Didn't share with anyone. But I knew I had a gift, that I had the ability to look at anything and write something from what I think, or if a thought into my mind, I'll write something about it to make you think. I was thinking about my YouTube channel and all the messages that I put there so far, about bringing all of them together into a small book, like I have done with my other books on HeStillSpeaksNowListen.org. If you have not purchased your copy, visit Create Space and buy a copy. Also, you can go to Amazon.com and buy a copy. Go to my website, He Still Speak Now Listen, and go to the bookstore and you'll see the titles I have wrote. You all have Snakes in Your Head, Thug Desire, Teach Me How to Pray, and many more thought-provoking books, such as From the Eyes of a Cop, Black Lives Matter, The Seed of Zeus, Sexual Dating Has Its Consequences, or Come With Consequences. But I want to share with you today something that came to mind when I was driving to work, and I had this thought in my mind, say, where do you dwell? Where do you dwell? Or you could say, where do you live? Or where are you dwelling? Where are you living now? As I thought about it all day long, I did a little bit of research and I looked up the word dwell. Dwell means to remain for a time, or you can say remain in a place for a time, to live at a residence, to keep their attention. And where is your dwelling place? A dwelling place is a place where sometime we live. So I'm asking you today, where do you live? Where are you dwelling? You could say I'm living in my house, my home, my mobile home, my car. I'm homeless. I'm in jail. I'm in prison. I'm in the hospital. I'm just living from friends to friends. I don't have a steady place to stay. I'm just living. I'm just surviving. I'm remaining there for the time being. As I continue to think about this, I thought a great revelation came into my mind, and I thought about it. To dwell is to remain there for a short time. To dwell is to live in your residence. To dwell is to keep your attention. I continue to think on, where do you live? Where are you dwelling? And I say, wow, a little light bulb went off in my head. Where do you dwell? Where are you living? Every time and every day, we are living somewhere. I'm about to introduce to you a thought that you may have never thought of, or you may have. If you have, good, then you can just put together what I've just shared with you. This is where we live. We all have this brain between our ears and our eyes, our nose, our mouth, and the words we speak. We are dwelling in here. Our thoughts is our dwelling place. Our thoughts is where we're residing for a short period of time. If we think about it, there's 26 letters in the alphabet, A through Z. Every behavior and every action, good or bad, begin with a letter in the alphabet. Think about how many letters of alphabet are you flowing back and forth, up and down the scale. Everything, for example, you can say alcohol, drug use, drug selling, fornication, adultery, stealing, murdering, backbiting, gossiping, lying, whatever you can think of come with a letter. It comes with a thought. The words that we speak are spirit. This body that you see in front of you, the body that listening to me, is not the real you. The real you is the spirit that resides in you. Whoever controls the brain control you. We are a spiritual being living in a physical body. The words that we speak are spirit. The words that we speak are spirit. We are dwelling in our thoughts. We are dwelling in our emotional realms. When we think the thoughts we think, we become the very thing that we think. We are dwelling in our mind on how we think, feel, believe, want, and whatever you can think of. I can't put nothing in here. Only you have to choose to listen to me, listen to someone, right or wrong, accept it, eat it, consume it. It comes in this mind, come in this brain, and your hands and your body begin to do it. The physical reaction, the physical things we say, the things that we do begins here. We are dwelling in our thoughts for a period of time. It is our resident. We can be living in a resident that's not of us, and therefore we become the very thing. It's like someone inviting you to their home, and the longer you stay there, you start taking on their behavior. We are dwelling. We should not be dwelling in other people's homes. We think we know what's right until someone comes to us and reveals to us the truth. We are this. If we have the ability to rip it out of our mind, our head, we will drop dead. It is the spirit that gives us life. We are dwelling. Yes, you are in your home, at your computer. Listen to me. Listen to the words I speak, which are spirit, and into your eye gate, your ear gate, I'm sorry. You're thinking about the thoughts I'm thinking. He still speaks, is speaking to you, revealing to you things that you did not or was not aware of. And as you think about it, you begin to realize that from A to Z, you are dwelling in one of those letters at 24/7, 24/7, 24/7, 365 days out of the year. We are dwelling in our thoughts. We are dwelling in our resonance of thoughts for a period of time. And depending on how it makes us feel, we are there. Physical dwelling place is the home, the workplace. It's a physical dwelling. An emotional dwelling, a spiritual dwelling, all comes together. We first must think of a thought, and then we decide, should we do it or should we refuse? If we decide to do it, whether it's good or bad, we are dwelling in that thought. So the next time you think, where are you dwelling? Where do you live? Think about it. You're living in a thought that is governing your behavior at that very moment. No one can change you. Only you can change yourself. We can fall in the boat. Our circumstances must change. If our circumstances change in our lifestyle, we can be poor, we can be hungry, we can be homeless. We can do everything that we see the other side doing if our circumstances change. Don't be so quick to point the finger at someone else and say, look at their lifestyle, look what they're doing, you are better than them. No, you're not better than them. You just happen to be dwelling in that place. When you get in your car and ride through the neighborhood or drug-infested neighborhood or see a homeless person on the street, someone selling drugs, someone had just been killed, someone had just been murdered, someone is behaving in a bad manner, they are dwelling in that spiritual realm. And in order to get you there, you must agree with them. For example, a person hang out with someone who's selling drugs. Sooner or later, what's going to happen? They're going to start selling drugs themselves or begin to use it. You are dwelling in your mind. No one is exempt. This is not about race. This is not about playing the race card. This has no color. 3 ounces of matter between our ears, our eyes. It does not discriminate. It's not a black and white thing. You are in control of the thought that you think. You are dwelling at this very moment in the thought that you have decided at that very moment. If you decide to do good things, you are dwelling in that good thought. If you decide to do bad things, you are dwelling in that bad thoughts. So when you hear someone say, "Where do you live, my friend? Where do you live, my brother? Can I visit you?" Think about it. Do they want to visit your physical dwelling place to get to know you? Or do they want to visit you, your dwelling place, about the money you have, the lifestyle you're living? Or they want to be like you? If they want to be like you for all the wrong reason, they are telling you they want to dwell in your residence. Begin to throw away the keys of lies and deception and refuse to let people in your front door. If a burglar was kicking down your door right now, you do two things. You call 911 or you pick up your weapon and defend yourself. It's the same thing when people come to us with behaviors and words of deception that tickle our fancy and our desire. We need to call into question and say, wait a minute. Do I want to live in that person resident of thoughts? Do I want to live there because it make me feel good, how I feel, what I can do, what I can obtain from living in their residence? I don't have to pay any bills, figure speech. No, you must live in your thoughts. The thoughts. Seek the right thoughts. Live in the mind of the God as you know him to be. Live in the mind as you know God. Let his thoughts flow through you. Begin to say, I'm dwelling in righteousness. I'm working toward righteousness. I'm working towards doing the right thing, that my house, my residence can be clean. No, we're not perfect. We must work toward. It's a tug in battle, a tug of war, to making us do the right thing and the wrong thing. Right and wrong. Don't be deceived to think that you can do whatever you want to, because you can do it. Yeah, you can do it. But we will reap what we sow. You are the one responsible for the things that happen to you, no one else. It is because if you look at your life right now, ask yourself this question. Are you living in a residence that bringing righteousness, morality, understanding, wisdom toward what you should be doing for self? I taught a message last night when I bring on that can be a blessing to you if you would like to go back and listen to it. It's the one I put on last night. Where do you dwell? Where would you like to dwell? You can't live in two homes at one time. You can't live in two places at one time. You can't think two thoughts at one time. You can think it, but you must decide. And when you decide on a thought that's not of you because you was influenced or convinced or deceived or for whatever reason, when you decide to accept that thought, it is implanted in here, and then you can look in the mirror of life and say, where am I living or dwelling today? And your behavior, good or bad, will reveal to you that you have decided to let someone in, ungodly thoughts, unmorality thoughts, thoughts that's not even good, into your residence and begin to change you. And everyone knows, if they got common sense, can look at it and say, where do you dwell? Just by looking at you. They will know by the words you speak, they will know you have decided to live in a residence for a period of time because it benefits you, or you decide not to live in that residence because it would not benefit you. It's not in your best interest to live in that residence of thoughts. So you decide to shut the door, accept the truth, and walk away and deny yourself that residence. It may look good. It may have the riches of the world, the food, the money, the sex, the car, materialistic thing. And all you just have to do is accept the key of thoughts and open the door and accept it and figure no one's watching you. And sooner or later, you'll reap what you have sown. So thank you once again for visiting He Still Speaks Now Listen. Please visit my website, hestillspeaksnowlisten.org. As I mentioned, I have great things on there that you can read and enjoy and share it with someone. Don't be afraid to share it with somebody because you don't want them to know that you listen to stuff like this. Don't think for someone else. Just share it. Allow them the opportunity to hear what you are hearing. If they like it, they will pass it on. But share. That's all I ask you to do. Share it. And if you like what you have read, if you like what you have read on my website, and if you like what you've heard on YouTube, He Still Speaks Now Listen, subscribe to the channel. There'll be many more messages as I'm led to write them. And I thought about putting them one day all in a book. He Still Speaks Now Listens about promoting me, promoting my material, promoting my books, because I want you to have an opportunity as it has been given to me. And whatever you do with what you hear is up to you. I'm only responsible to give it to you. I cannot make you accept it. I can just give it to you. Thank you and be blessed.